Hi guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Alina if you're new here, and in today's video I'm gonna give you the harsh truth about dating and relationships that you may or may not want to hear, but you definitely need to hear, because in order to change what we receive, we need to change how we are inside of us, because our identity creates our reality. There's so much resentment right now about men these days, and so many women are claiming that all men are trash. So many men are nagging about so-called gold diggers and all these nasty women that try to get to their finances. But let's be honest, everybody needs to work on themselves. We settled for the mistreatment, we didn't know our worth, we sold ourselves short, we agreed to bare minimum treatment and breadcrumbs, and we simply didn't ask for more. So how should men do more if you would never even ask for it, if you would never demand it, if you would just keep on agreeing to every single little breadcrumb that he throws at you and you be like, oh, thank you so much? No. It is time for all of us to actually change how we carry ourselves, not just only towards men, but actually towards ourselves, because we owe it to ourselves. And then at some point we realize that all the other people are getting what they want. They live happy, healthy relationships. We compare ourselves and then we get angry at men because we wasted our time, because for such a long time we settled for shitty treatment, and then we get so much resentment towards men, and then we start assuming that all men must be the same, that all men are trash, and that's how these negative assumptions about men are actually going around. You as a woman, obviously you try to turn cold, you try to think as men, you try to just be, a cruel woman, you try to shut your feelings off, you try to just go for money instead. And you know what, guys, I'm so sick and tired of it. Like, we need to get back to our feminine essence. We need to heal our masculine and feminine energy, and we need to stop assuming any negative assumptions about men, about gender, about the roles, about whatever, because in the end, guys, it is all us. Like, life is reflecting always what we believe is true about life, and every single time that you assume that a man is trash, or vice versa, a woman is trash and all women are the same, you will exactly get the confirmation for that, and you will keep on attracting all these negative relationships. When in fact, the relationship that you have with others are a direct reflection of the relationship that you have with yourself. So if you attract shitty relationships, no matter if it's friendship or the relationship with a partner, then it must be actually your own fault. You created this, and the sooner you take radical responsibility and acceptance for what is happening in your life, the sooner you can also change it. So if we don't create boundaries for ourselves in our life, we don't stick firm to them, how should any man know? How should they treat us better if we do not demand it? This has nothing to do about entitlement or this sprinkle culture. I've seen all the videos, and believe me, guys, I was one of those girls watching those videos and being all up about them and being like, oh my gosh, yes, this is so true. Start thinking like a man, date for money, don't date for love, and all these things. But you know what that is? It is actually a trauma response, and I'm so tired of all these toxic videos. Because you know what it creates? It doesn't create loving and harmonious relationship. It actually goes further away from traditional families and from traditional roles about masculine and feminine energy. It goes away from harmony and love. It actually creates more diversion, because there are so many men that are so sick and tired about women that just date for money, and also so many women that are tired of men just dating for pleasure. I think we actually should start working on ourselves and creating healthy boundaries with ourselves, and also learning about masculine and feminine energy, and just, finding out what we truly want and changing our assumption about the opposite gender. Because in the end, guys, like, all this toxic culture about why men are this and how women are this, like, it just doesn't create any harmony. It just doesn't lead us to anything. So I feel like with doing this video, what I want to achieve is that everyone thinks about themselves first, instead of trying to blame the opposite gender or trying to blame anybody in general, because in the end, it's all about us. If we don't change internally, nothing in the external world can also change, because it all starts within us. And the one thing that I have realized that led me to now having an actual loving and harmonious and healthy relationship is doing the work with myself and changing my own personal assumptions and working with myself and staying sane single for such a long time, like actually dating myself, you know? So many people are looking for dating advices when the only person that they should be dating is themselves. They should get to know themselves first before they try to get anybody else. They should know what their soul is craving, what they need in relationships, what are their non-negotiables, like what do you need to be happy in relationships, what are your values, what are your beliefs, and how do you want to build upon that. And if you get to know somebody, you need to also check if your values and beliefs and all those things align, you know? It's not only about attraction anymore. It's not only about the spark or the chemistry or the butterflies. I do not believe in that, to be honest. And when I met my current partner, honestly, I was not directly attracted to him at first. I actually was a little bit against him, to be honest, but you know what that was? It was a trauma response, and most of us people are actually having negative trauma responses. We don't have a regulated nervous system. We have a lot of negative attachment. We are operating mostly on attachment styles. That's avoidant or anxious, or avoidant and anxious attachment style. And you need to find out about your attachment styles before you start dating. You know, I see it with myself very easily. There have been times where I've been feeding the man energetically, physically, mentally, emotionally, like everything, even financially. I've been feeding the man and giving up all my energy, all my power towards man. You know what? It just drained me. It drained me out to a point where I didn't even know myself anymore, where I felt so lost, where I felt more alone within a connection than actually being by myself. And sure, you know, I could blame him and be like, oh, he's such a bad man, blah, 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 so all men must be the same, and, you know, have like a lot of resentment towards men in general, but this is not the solution. This will not get you any further. So the only person that you need to hold responsible when it comes towards relationships is yourself, because you can never change another person. The only person that you can change is yourself, and you can change your behavior. You can choose to leave at any given time, and please do not tell me like, oh, but I'm so used to this, oh, but I can't walk away, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, you know, for most people, it is not love that keeps them in a relationship. It is actually a unhealthy attachment, or simply being in their comfort zone and being so used to a certain situation that they just keep settling for it, even if that situation is not healthy at all for them. Even me in my past relationships, I did a lot of things that now I would do differently maybe, but also I don't regret anything, because I believe that everything that I did in these relationships, it brought me to where I am now. And I had to learn those things, like my soul needed to actually evolve. You know, back then I decided to do those things. So it's me who is responsible and not any of those men. So I do not blame anyone but myself. I don't even actually blame myself, because I just simply didn't know any better, you know? I thought I had to earn love. I thought I had to do things to keep the relationship alive. I thought I had to chase men. I thought I had to do all those things because, you know, your relationships are a reflection of the way how you saw love when you were a child. So if you grew up in an unhealthy family environment, you had to earn maybe your parents' love by doing certain things like, oh, do this and then we love you, then we will be proud of you. You attach love to achievements and to being nice, being a good girl. You learned that love is something that you had to earn. Based on this familiarity of love, like your view of love and relationships, this is how you grow up, and this is also how you recreate patterns in your relationship. So if you grew up thinking you had to earn love from your parents, this is probably also the reason why you keep on trying to earn love from your future partner, why you're trying to keep on doing more as a woman, which is basically the complete opposite of what you should be doing, because doing things and earning and chasing is all masculine energy. If you do that as a woman, you repel the masculine energy from your partner. And in the end, guys, you always attract your counterpart. So if you are in your masculine energy when you're dating, you actually attract the counterpart, which is feminine men, okay? So all these women who are dating right now, all these 50-50 guys and, you know, men who just don't want to do nothing for you, this is the reason why. You're probably in your survival state, you're in your masculine energy, and you attract, based on that, your current partner. And if you do not change that, if you do not heal the energies within yourself, you should be creating harmony and polarity in your relationship, because the only thing that keeps relationships alive is polarity. But if you are in survival mode, if you are in your masculine energy as a woman, you know what? That is a trauma response. You're acting based on a pattern, beliefs and assumptions and truths that you think are true based on what you learned as a child, based on what you learned in your early years. Maybe you have been cheated on once, or you've been dating like dysregulated, not emotionally available or intelligent man at all. So now you've been thinking that, you know, love is just hard and it's just like a struggle, and you keep on ending in these patterns and relationships that feel the same but are with a different person. I definitely had this pattern for myself as well. I've been constantly in the same type of relationships, constantly like recreating patterns, and I didn't know what was wrong, and I kept on blaming them instead of blaming myself. But at some point I was like, you know what, I keep on attracting the same partners in different people, the same type of relationships. What is actually going wrong, you know? So I started to look within, and I realized I had so much healing to do. It was such a trauma response from me. I had the work to do. First, you have to understand that not all men are trash, okay? And not everyone wants to wrong you. Maybe some will try to, but you should be the one who doesn't even let it happen, because you take care of yourself and you watch out for yourself. And there's a lot of signs that you can realize if a man wants the best for you or not, and if he has good intentions or not. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I did. So the thing that I personally did, and what also you can do, is to work on yourself, to work on your boundaries, and what I'm personally going to accept from men. And until I find what I want, and you have to set an intention for dating. For me, for example, I don't date for fun. I think, you know, when you're in your mid-20s and you are still dating for fun, like, I don't know what you're waiting for. Like, we all don't get younger, and if you want a family at some point, like, you actually should try to find, you know, somebody that is good for you, that has the same set of values, where you can see yourself raise a family with. So I date for marriage, okay? So my intention was dating for marriage, not dating for fun. I don't need pleasure, so I decided to be celibate until I find the one that is truly able to commit to me, and that also has the same exact intentions that I personally have. And I'm telling you guys, the minute that I stopped responding, stopped giving my energy to and accepting bare minimum treatment from men, everything changed for me. It is literally an energy shift that you have to make for yourself. And it's not that all these men that ask you out for little coffee dates, 5-minute coffee dates, where you even have to pay the coffee for yourself. Like, it is not that these men do not show up. You just release them with love and you politely decline. And that's how you just, you know, sort them out. And maybe you do not have as much material then to work with. And with material, I mean the man that you're dating. But maybe you don't have as many options anymore. But I'm telling you, you are also not wasting your energy anymore. You know, I have so many friends that are dating so many men and that are constantly frustrated, and they keep on meeting the same type of people, but they also keep on entertaining them. They keep on giving themselves to these men very quickly, way too quickly, in order to actually find out their intention. Like, I'm telling you, trust me, I'm telling you this, you will realize a man's intention when you tell him that you won't sleep with him, that you won't kiss him, that he won't be able to touch you if he's not committed to you. You will very, very quickly find out about a man's patient, about his behavior, if you are making clear. You don't have to tell them that by the first date, but you know, if you're making clear very quickly within the first couple times of dating, what are your intentions? And if they don't agree, then, you know, perfect, the trash took itself out. So the minute I stopped dating bare minimum behavior, such as coffee dates, and there's like a fight about it, and you can argue about me with coffee dates, for me it's just not worth my time and effort, because I get pretty for a day. I show up as my best version. Like, I put on a nice outfit. For me, this is not, like, it's not worth it. Like a $5 coffee. Come on. For those men, I always assume, so these men are going with so many women on dates that they can't afford, obviously, a lot of meals every single month. Because let's be honest, if you pay for a meal like, you know, $150 to $200, obviously, if you date a lot of women, you cannot afford that if you are not a very wealthy man, to invite so many women out on a date. And it's not about the money, but it's about the effort in itself, right? So if a man asks and invites me for coffee, I automatically assume So he is going out with a lot of women, so that's why he need to, cut his budget a little bit, and that's why you can only afford to go with me on a coffee. This is not the kind of man I'm interested in. Also, I'm thinking, so he's not very creative, like he just wants to take me out for a random coffee. It doesn't have a lot of effort included. And if I put my effort into getting ready, looking nice and being fine, all polished up, and just, serving him with great conversation, like, no, this is not for me. I don't want to spend a lot of time with men on for example, longer dinner date, then it's also fine, but it's just simply not for me. It's my personal opinion. But as soon as I decided for myself, no, I don't want to do this anymore, I was invited for fancy dinner dates. Like, the date was planned, it was all organized, I was picked up with a car, it was sent an Uber, I got nice flowers for the very first date, brought home safely, car doors and restaurant doors magically opened for me, being invited onto trips, being sent gifts, all the things. Even would drive hours to see me, and I was not even touched once. I didn't even have to share a kiss, okay? So it is all about the way how you carry yourself and how you hold your standard and how you communicate your boundaries, okay? I was not trying to gold dig. I was not hunting for meals. Like, I couldn't care less, but I was trying to really find out who had a good intention and who wants to commit to me and who I can vibe with, who has the same values. You also have to ask the right questions. You have to ask them about their values when it comes to emotional intelligence, like their belief about family, about traditional roles, about all the things that are very important to you. So that's why I'm saying you have to date yourself first. You have to actually find out what you're looking for, what do you want in order to be in a happy, fulfilled relationship. And the most part of that relationship is actually yourself, right? Because first and foremost, you are in a relationship with yourself, and then comes everybody else. So you should always prioritize yourself and your needs and what you want, instead of finding somebody that can make you happy. Like, you should make yourself happy, and you are already a whole person, and then you also will find another whole person where you can be even more whole together, and you can grow more from that. But if you are feeling incomplete and you're always looking in the happiness for other people and like the partner that you're craving, you will find also a partner that is not whole himself. So you're both broken halves of something, and try to fill a void, try to complement each other, but it's not gonna work because you're in general not a happy person by yourself. And that always makes you so much easier attached to a person, and that always ends up to disappointment. So, and if a man is not willing to communicate with me, if he didn't want to put in effort for a date, if he just asked for a cheap coffee date, that's fine, okay? I politely decline and say thank you for the invitation, but I prefer more serious and more intentional dates with a little bit more effort where you really can get to know each other. And if then, he agreed to a dinner date, fine. If not, also fine. Like, there's no resentment, nothing, no hate, no revenge. Like, I just move on, and I just realize it's not for me. But there's so many women that keep on settling for less and then are mad that they settled for less. Telling you, there's something that I should have realized more earlier as well. As long as we accept the bare minimum, this is what we keep getting. As long as we as women do not demand the man to level up and have more to offer than their physical attraction and bare minimum behavior, then they will simply not change. There's so many women making it so freaking easy for a man these days. I'm also talking about women who are sleeping literally with every single man who gifts them a purse or gives them some money. This is literally modern prostitution. But also, if you date and you give your body away to every single man out there, then it's basically also prostitution, but you're just not earning money for it. I mean, it's a very valid service. That's basically stupid. If you're so addicted to that intimacy with so many different men, then maybe you should change your career path. But the kind of women that I'm talking about are women that have very solid values, hold their standards high, and that have a lot of self-worth and self-respect, that do not want to date only for money, that want to create loving and healthy relationships with themselves first and then with other people, and who want to build a solid connection with a man. Doesn't mean that you should have no financial standards. You should always have financial standards for yourself and also for your partner, but that you don't agree to a relationship when the only valid connection that you both have is money. Because as soon as that money fades at some point, you will also fade away. That is why there are so many rich men that change women super quickly, because they see that the intention from those women is not real. Like, it's only about money. Like, men realize that as well, and that's why they also behave in a certain way, and why they just want to exchange women, because they offer themselves so easily. Do not get me wrong, I love a man who has money, and the question is not why do I as a woman want to have a rich man. The question for the man should be, why would you want to be poor being in a relationship? You should rather work on yourself and become an ambitious and driven man that has a purpose and that follows a purpose and that can lead a woman as well. Because a man that can't lead himself nor a woman will only lead you into misery. So men should work on themselves to become better, ambitious and driven men who can provide something for their woman. It's not about a monetarily amount, but also about emotional safety, emotional security, and having financial goals should be a standard that you should basically just hold for yourself and not only for another woman. And as a woman, you should become somebody that a high value man wants to date. You can also nurture and support your partner in what he does, and while also following and fulfilling your purpose that you're here for. Because I truly believe that every single human being on this planet is here for a purpose. And you know what? Like, it's not about just being a stay-at-home girlfriend and just not doing anything with your life but to go to Pilates and get your nails done. Like, I believe you should follow something that really ignites your soul and that really gives you passion and that excites you every single day. Because sooner or later, I'm telling you, if you become too passive, you will get so bored and so drained. Like, if you don't grow yourself in general, you just become unattractive to anyone. Like, no high value man that holds a standard for himself wants to be with a woman that he can hold a conversation with, that basically has zero interest in growing herself and becoming a better human being. Just doesn't work out. A person, men and women, should have their own strengths and they come together and complement themselves. And this is how you build a solid foundation and a healthy, happy relationship. No, I do not agree to all this gold digger trends and date men for money and all these things. Obviously, have financial standards for yourself. You're literally stupid if you do not have financial standards for yourself and if you keep on entertaining broke men. And with broke, I do not mean broke in bank account, but broke in mentality, broke in ambition, and all these things that I need and desire in a partner, because I am also ambitious myself. So I cannot date anybody that has not ambitions for himself, that is not, that doesn't have entrepreneurial mindset and that doesn't make something out of his life. Actually about the drive and the discipline that keeps him alive, and that are very masculine traits in a man. I'm very feminine myself and I need a man to be able to lead me, and I need a man where I can look up to and be led by. So in order to be led by a man, he cannot be beneath me. Like, he needs to be so much higher than me so I can respect him and I can look up to him. If you cannot do that as a woman, there is, as I said, no polarity. And men are also very simple. They want physical contact. They all want the same thing, but in the end, it's about who from all these men that want the same thing you can date with, that has serious intentions, not just only about the physical connection that he can get from anywhere. If he is doing it for you, like if he really wants to get to know you, if he really has the intention of making you his long-term commitment. So if you deny the one thing that all men want in the beginning stages of getting to know him, which is the physical contact, I'm telling you, you will find out very fast who's serious about you and who is not. You will be shocked about how many men I've met where I told them what is my standard and what I will not do, and this is a non-negotiable for me, that I do not want to be touched or kissed or whatever. I want to build an emotional connection. I want to talk to them and really get to know them. I will share not a bed or a kiss with them if I am not in a committed relationship with them. They actually appreciate me and value me so much more, because they said, wow, there should be more women like this in the world who don't give in so easily. Actually, men are always trying to test you, because they always have the thrill of chasing you. But if you give in and if you give access to your body and you sleep with them too soon and whatever, they are thrilled by that chase and they are thrilled that they got you finally. But then in the end, they always ask themselves, so if she did that with me now after the first 1 or 2 dates, she's probably doing that also with other people, because men are always like this. And they will always assume that you are doing the exact same thing with other people as well, because they are doing it also, so they will just keep on assuming that you are doing the same thing. So they will be actually turned off by that, because all men are like this. Like, just realize it. It's so simple. Stop sleeping with men. This is such a sacred thing that you should be doing when you, like, only when you really deeply love somebody. It is very simple. Men are hunters, and if you offer yourself on a silver plate and calling it feminism, that oh, you can also do what all men are doing and sleep with all the men that you want on this planet just because men are also doing it, you shouldn't wonder why you'll be getting miserable treatment and why no one's chasing you and why no one's trying to invest into you and work for you and trying to prove themselves instead of you trying to prove yourself. So don't be proud if you got a lot of men, because cheap prices attract many buyers. And that also goes for all the men out there. Like, sexual hygiene is such a thing that I look for. Like, if my man, like if I would know about my man that he had so many women that he slept with, like I would be so turned off and disgusted, because I know like he doesn't respect himself and he doesn't respect women in the end, because a man that has a lot of women doesn't respect women. He don't, and he also doesn't respect himself. Like, he has, like, the man that I'm looking for has better things to do than chasing women, and he looks intentionally for one woman he can build a life with. And you can ask very simple question to find that out. You know, if you date a man and you ask him how many relationships he had, and he said, oh, like with 10 women, and like, you know, maybe for 6 months or 1 year, like, this man is not about committed long-term dating. And if he is a man that has like very long relationships, then this man is about long committed dating, and he is probably loyal to people, right? If he's dating a woman for 6 or 8 years or longer, like, this man has serious intention and can be loyal to women. If he's saying, oh, like he's just trying to find out and like he's figuring out, and I don't know, like he doesn't know what he's looking for, girl, he's definitely not looking for you. If you want to be an elite woman that not many men can get, you should be high value. You should feed yourself. You should prioritize yourself. You should educate yourself, and you should be having manners and self-respect, and you should respect yourself so much. You rather want to be alone than in a half-ass relationship, or even worse, situationship. I don't even know what this word is supposed to mean. Nonsense, in my opinion. And sure, there's a lot of men that are very cheap these days that have this 50-50 mindset and mentality. All this doesn't mean that I've never met them, but I'm telling you, no man is asking me twice to go 50-50. If we as women actually change how we operate, how we carry ourselves, how we behave, and what we settle for, and don't give men so easily what they want, we will also challenge men to change themselves. So I only am with a man who elevates my life. And that doesn't only go to the man and the person that I'm in a serious committed relationship with, but also to friendships. Like, if you don't add to my life, you're out. Only be with a man who worked on himself. No dusties, no therapy cases, because I'm not the charity. I'm no longer here to heal anybody. I'm here to heal my own life. And with healing myself and taking care of myself and prioritizing myself, I will also attract my counterpart who prioritizes himself, who is looking for a serious relationship, who wants to add to my life, who is happy with himself. And we are both wholes that come together to build more wholeness. And I only be with a person who can offer me more than I already offer myself. Do not try to fight for love. I do not try to chase men. I simply do not try to prove myself anymore. And the minute I stopped proving myself, the minute that I stopped trying to work so hard to keep a man, like, everything was just so much more easier, and I actually attracted somebody who was seeing me for the real me, who sees and hears me as I am and my authentic self, and who I do not have to try to prove myself or, you know, hustle my way into the relationship or whatever. I can just be me, my feminine energy embodiment, and he loves me being that way. And he is the masculine counterpart that I was looking for, but that I also am not dependent on. That is also a very important thing, guys. You should never be codependent. It's an interdependency that you should be creating. Because if you cannot count on each other, then what you're even in a relationship for? Like, you should be always with somebody who would solve problems for you, who is helping you, who's supporting you. But you should also always follow your own purpose and, you know, be a person of value, not for others and, you know, try to prove your worth, but for yourself, for your own sake of fulfilling your soul's purpose that you are here for in this world. If you understand masculine and feminine energy, I'm telling you, you will realize that it all starts with this. Like, everyone has masculine and feminine energy, and you know, people have a lot of wounded energy and all this like energy about, you know, date men for their money. And you know, this all comes from traumatized women who dated once for love, but then have been blindsided, gaslit, or manipulated, cheated on, and then they decided, okay, now we're gonna do it differently. We're gonna think before we let our heart out. They close off their heart, and then they keep on hunting for men, only dating them for their money, and then wonder why there are so many men dating only for sex and intimacy. Because all these men are tired and sick, like all these men are sick and tired by all these women looking only for their money. Like, it's just a negative cycle that we are in currently, and that we will never get out of if we do not learn how to create happy and harmonious relationship with ourselves first, and then also with others. And you know, and I'm telling you, there was also a time when I was thinking, oh, maybe I should date for money. But you know what? My values were always so much higher than, you know, money is for me. So for me, it's very important. Like, I cannot date a man just because he has money. Like, it just doesn't sit right with me. I just can't. Like, I need attraction. I need a connection, you know, I need an emotional connection. I need a mind connection. I need the same values. I cannot be with somebody who I cannot spend like literally 24/7, have no emotional connection with, and that I only date for lifestyle. And I don't believe that you should compromise that. Like, you know, I believe that you should build success with your partner, that your partner should be successful, that your man should be ambitious, that he should be driven, that he should know how to create abundance, because that is a masculine trait for me, that a man knows how to build financial security for his family, that he should be providing for. But I also believe that you as a woman are bringing a lot of value into that partnership by being supportive, by being nurturing. You can only be nurturing and supportive if you open your heart, and if you let your guard down as a woman, and if you are embodying your divine feminine energy. You cannot expect men to change if you keep accepting their behavior and then keep on blaming them for it. The only thing that you can change is yourself, and that you teach men consequences. Men are very simple. They will always try to test your boundaries and how far they can go. But if you just give in very easily, and you don't hold a standard for yourself, and you do not know how to carry yourself, you do not know how to communicate and hold boundaries firm, you shouldn't be wondering why you always keep on experiencing these miserable relationships, situationships, and things nobody has time and energy for. You can literally teach people how to treat you. You can teach people how to mistreat you, because if you give in one time, they know what you will accept next time, and they will not change. But the minute that you stop accepting all this behavior, the sooner you will attract somebody that matches your standard. I worked so much on my assumptions and my beliefs about men, and I'm still to this day working on it. Like, it's just a never ending round, but you will at some point attract somebody that matches that energy, that matches that frequency that you're on. So I honestly believe that we can really create loving and harmonious relationships, being successful. Literally, you do not have to pick a side. You do not have to think, oh, love or money. You're like, you can have everything, you know? You just need to decide for yourself that you can have everything. You need to assume that you can have everything. As long as you assume all those negative beliefs, like, you will keep on getting confirmations for that. So assume for yourself to be the wish fulfilled, to be already that woman, to be already that man that has everything, that can have it all, and that a person that you are like, and that the person that you're craving is out there, and that you will find that connection the more you work on yourself and become that version that your future partner would be attracted to. Then I'm telling you, everything will change. And you know, I already can see it. There's so many women that are changing themselves, that rather stay single than being in a half-ass relationship. And also men that are finally watching out for themselves and changing themselves, because they realize they haven't been in their masculine energy, and it cannot go on like this. Like, the world needs to have healthy masculine and feminine energy. We need to get back to these roles that every relationship should embody in order to function and to create polarity. So guys, this was the truth about dating that you should need to know. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you have my channel, then hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any other videos, and I see you in my next video. Bye.